Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Together We Grow podcast. My name is Paul Main.
And my name is Tamer Main.
And we run this podcast and we've created this to help you grow your business. We take all of our years of experience of building a product-based business in the home fragrance industry. We grew to £7.5 million in sales, 300,000 plus orders, all of that good stuff. And we recently sold it.
We did, and now we're sharing our experience, not just about the business, but also about working and living together as well.
Exactly. We're going to give you tips, hints, behind the scenes stuff, everything you need to be able to grow your own business.
Especially with your spouse.
This particular episode, we're going to talk about building a community around your brand, why we think that's really important, and the positive impact it has on business to help you grow exponentially.
Well, when we first started in our business, Cozy Aromas, there wasn't really anybody that was doing community-based businesses really in our industry, was there? It was quite a new way of thinking, I think.
Yeah, it was. It was brand new, and there was one or two other people out there. But I think very early on, we kind of wanted to build a community around the product. I think really where it started was when we were in our testing phase of our business and we were making all these lovely products for all of our friends and family to enjoy. They were sort of telling us what they thought of it. They were talking to each other about our products when we weren't around as well. Getting feedback and all of that. And then from there, you can kind of realise that actually
people like talking about it.
They do. And this is the kind of product where people would collect home fragrance, candles, wax melts. People love collecting that kind of stuff and trying new fragrances and sharing their thoughts on different fragrances and different wax warmers, all of that kind of stuff. So building a community around it was kind of an obvious thing for us, wasn't it?
It was, and we decided to do that online on Facebook, didn't we? That was like our preferred platform that we had the most experience in at the time, and we already had a Facebook group that we did set up originally right from day one. What was it going to be about, like sales and new launches and things originally, so we sort of converted that over to being more community based, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly. And every customer that joined would sort of introduce themselves, share their sort of latest orders and all of that kind of stuff really. And it was
kind of snowballed, didn't it?
It started, it did snowball quite a lot. And I think we launched that in 2018.
Yeah.
So that was, I think it was at the time we launched, we had the Facebook group at the same time, didn't we?
Straight away.
We chose Facebook because everyone uses Facebook. You haven't got to have a special account for it. And it's a free thing. It's a free feature. So why not make good use of that? And at the time, obviously, this was only 6 years ago. So Facebook groups were very much a thing. But there wasn't all of these
groups there are now.
There's lots of groups now, basically. And there's a lot of Facebook groups out there which are subject based. So for example, it could be wax melt lovers, or it could be, so it's quite generic. It's not specific to a particular brand. But actually having a community which is focused around your brand for us, it's just been unreal, isn't it?
It has. It's been absolutely incredible, and we've been able to really nurture our customers through it, haven't we? We've been able to build up relationships with them, and it helps with the brand loyalty and their trust in us as a business, didn't it? It meant that any time that we made a product or something like that, that they believed in the product because they knew us and they knew the brand itself, so they didn't question wanting to buy it and wanting to collect it.
No, exactly. So I guess really what people want to know is how we actually grew it, because for Cozy Aromas we had one which was just under 10,000 members, and for Craft HQ it was
about the
3,500 members, something like that. And obviously recently we set one up for our new business, Home Fragrance Academy, and that's got 300 and something members in there, and that's growing every day. I think it's close to 400 now. And it's engaged. It's an
Yeah.
engaged audience, and that's the most important thing.
It's not about having a huge audience number if they're not an engaged audience,
Exactly.
because the numbers don't work otherwise.
That's the key thing. And one of the clients that we work with, lovely Debbie from Rushmere Skincare, she has, and her Facebook group, I think, has about 300 members, doesn't
Yeah.
it? 300 members. But the engagement rate in
It's
there
incredible.
is so good. And and that works for her. You know,
Yeah.
when she's got things to post and things to talk about and products to sell, that Facebook group drives those leads. That's where her main customer base is. And they are the people that will buy from her all the time. So and she's building a business from that. So it shows that you don't need a huge audience in order to
succeed.
but they just need to be engaged, and they need to be invested in your company.
It needs to be the
brand.
right people.
Absolutely right. So I guess we could talk a little bit about how we actually grew that Facebook group.
And the marketing strategies we use behind it.
Yeah. So the most obvious ways of growing a Facebook group is to tell your customers about it.
Yeah.
You know, you have to have customers to have them join this Facebook group. So if you listen to this, you don't have any customers yet, then yes, get yourself a Facebook group sorted out, but you're not going to have people join it. You want them they need to become a customer. Once they've become a customer, otherwise, why would they join a Facebook group around your brand?
Exactly.
And one of the most obvious ways of doing this is on your order confirmation email that your customers get once they've placed an order, is have a massive green button on there saying join our Facebook community, but then give them reasons why.
Yeah.
So you can say that the standard stuff where they can engage and chat to like-minded people who love the brand and all of that kind of stuff. But then you also want to give them other reasons to join, such as you host weekly competitions or quarterly giveaways, or you have exclusive products and exclusive discounts which are only available to members of their Facebook group. All of that kind of messaging really helps.
They need a proper reason to feel like, oh, what's the point of pressing this button? It's like going to be like any other group. You need to give them the reason why it's not.
Exactly, that's right. And so that's on the order confirmation email. So every single order that you get, someone is being prompted to join your Facebook group. But
it doesn't stop there, does it?
No. Once you've done that, you should always have an email flow set up anyway, a post-purchase email flow. If you don't know what that is, I'm now about to tell you what that is.
So you're very hot on your email flows, aren't you?
Well, they just work, don't they?
They do.
It's an email flow is an automated email sequence which triggers things based on actions your customers or audience takes. So in this instance, the trigger is they've placed an order. So at that point, if it's then you can split it out into two things. So if they've placed their order, you then have a trigger in there to say, was this their first order or was it a repeat order? If it's their first order, then you put them into a flow which sends them a lovely welcome email which says, here are pictures of Paul and Tamer. This is our business, why we created it, blah, 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 blah. All that good stuff, so they can see the people behind the brand straight away. Immediately they start to feel a bit more connected and they feel reassured, because bear in mind that when people place orders online, they have buyer's remorse very quickly. And then after that, a day or two later, before they've received their order, you want to send them an email which is all about your Facebook group, the best advert you can create for your Facebook group to encourage them to join. And you just do that, simple as that. And then after, email flows, you can extend that further as well. So then once they place repeat orders, you can then send them other stuff. But this conversation isn't about email flows. I'm just telling you how you can promote your Facebook group within there. So that straight away is two ways you can get people to your Facebook group, is via the order confirmation email and via an email flow. But then you've got social media itself.
Yep.
Just post about it often. Stories on Instagram where you can link straight to it. Stories on Facebook as well, which comes across from Instagram. There's just loads of ways. And the members that are in there as well, you can ask them to share your Facebook group with their friends.
Yep.
And it will just start to snowball up. The more engaged your Facebook group is,
the better. The
better, and the more members you'll get, because people will invite their friends to it. That's how it works.
And Facebook will also, Facebook will show you groups that it thinks that you will like, based on if you're in other Wax Melt groups, and if your customer, is in other Wax Melt groups and they're an active person and your group gets more and more active, then Facebook is going to show that group to these potential customers to say, oh, hang on, this is getting more active, so you might like this group.
Yeah, absolutely. And these principles that we're talking about today aren't just for home fragrance.
No, they're for product-based businesses in
Product-based
general.
businesses. So if you crochet items,
Hmm.
if you're an artist, if you make jewelry, whatever it is, you can create a Facebook group around your brand, and you should do it. It's a lot of
Definitely.
work, which we're going to touch on shortly,
Yeah,
but I promise you,
you can
it,
be very
if
successful
you,
with in your business with it.
yeah, I think without our Facebook group, we wouldn't have been half as successful as we were.
No, I don't think we would either, because we that accounted for a huge amount of our return on customer rate, didn't it? Our,
Yeah,
our return on customer rate was very high, and that was largely down, pretty much mostly down to the Facebook group and
yeah,
the support and the networking we did with them.
absolutely right. So we've covered how to get people to the Facebook group. It takes time, but you'll start to see results as you're getting orders and as you're actually asking people to join.
But the next step is getting them to stay there and want
Yeah,
to engage and be part of the community, because it's all well and good getting people in there, but if you can't get them to stay, what's the point?
absolutely. So, Tamer, what are your top tips for keeping your Facebook group audience engaged?
Talk to them, communicate with them, post regularly, ask them questions, and every single post that somebody or anybody puts in that group should always be reacted to and commented on. And not just a, oh, that looks lovely. Ask them a question if you can and try and get a conversation going. And you'll find other members ask questions as well. And overnight, you might wake up in the morning and find people have engaged with other people while you've been asleep. It will take a while to get to that point, but you will, if you keep going and keep posting and keep asking questions, you will get responses and it will naturally build. And then more people will be able to see people chatting in there and then feel more comfortable to be able to post themselves.
That's right, absolutely. And one of the key things, two key things that I have learned from our Facebook group is don't sell in it
No,
often anyway. Obviously, no. Okay, reverse a little bit. Use it to sell because that's ultimately what you want to do, sell your products.
but be clever with it.
Be clever with it. Don't do it every day, barely do it every week, but do it once you've got key things to sell, like new collections. And when you are engaging in the group, engage from your personal
Yeah.
profile, post from your personal profile, comment and talk to people from your personal profiles. And then when you've got something to sell, like a new collection that's launched, use your Facebook page in your group to sell that. Because then people will know to look out for your name just for like general comments and sort of get to know you. But then once they see your brand name within the group, they know straight away that that's probably something they're going to be interested in. It
Yeah.
draws their attention to it.
It does, and it works very well. And also, when you're using your personal profile, people feel more connected to you. They know you. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
And you do get to know your customers really well that way as well. And you don't have to worry if you don't want to have your customers on your personal profile, because you'll find some people do send you a Facebook friend request, but you don't have to accept that. So there's no sort of worry about crossing that over. People only see what you comment and post in the Facebook group.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
I know
exactly.
sometimes that's something people worry about. Oh, I don't want them to see my profile and things like that. But if your profile's set up to private anyway, they can only see what you post in that group.
I think just what's more important to you, letting people see a picture of you on holiday 3 years ago or actually growing your
Yeah.
business. Don't worry about it. Set your profile to private, whatever,
Mm.
just, just,
These are the tactics that we use
yeah,
to help build our community, and in turn, it helped build our sales.
exactly. It depends what you want to do. If you want to grow a business, build a brand, build a proper brand of an engaged community of people that you can easily sell to, then these are the things you have to do. So
Yeah.
just do it. I mean, sometimes it comes across as harsh and blunt, but it's true, isn't it?
It's
Just,
true,
just,
yeah.
just do it. Otherwise, you're not going to achieve the things you want to
Mm.
achieve.
You've got to jump out of your comfort zone sometimes, don't you?
Absolutely, you have.
Hmm. Another thing that is good in the Facebook groups that we use regularly still ourselves now in our HFA community is scheduled posts. So every Wednesday I have a post that goes up, which I think will be going up very shortly now, about Wednesday wins, and so customers can share the things that they've succeeded in this week, and you can do that in any Facebook group. You can set up weekly posts or even daily posts, however you want to
Yeah,
set them up.
that's a very good point. So if you like, that's a really good idea actually. So as Tamer says, for the Home Fragrance Academy community Facebook group, she has a post there which is
Wednesday wins.
Wednesday wins, and it encourages people to share things that they've done in the past week.
Yep.
It's an automated thing that goes up every single Wednesday.
Yep.
So I think if the people listening to this can think of different segments they can do once a week, that they can just have the same automated post go up. They haven't got to think about it. However, try not to overdo it, because then people will see it's just an automated post. And when they do go up and you do get some comments, make sure you respond to those to encourage those things. One of the things that we did with Cozy Rome is we started this, I think, in 2019, and it's still running now. We've sold the business now. We're not involved in it, and Lindsay still keeps up with it. Every single Sunday, without fail, at midday, we have a competition.
Yep.
And the competition is something very simple. It's like, win a wax melt of your choice by answering the following question. And the question could be something daft, like, guess how much wax we've used this week in grams. Or it could be, share your favourite autumn fragrance, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And
Could be anything.
They'll get a few hundred comments. It boosts that engagement.
It does. And we also use that as a way to find out what customers wanted as well. So we'd say, we're going to launch some new room sprays next year. What ones of our fragrances do you want to become a room spray? And then we can use that post and find out what the most popular ones are.
Exactly. You can be so strategic with it, which is what we start to do over time. So as well as that, can you remember we also used to do things like in autumn time, like now, September, we would say, what is your favourite thing to do at Christmas?
Yeah.
What's your favourite Christmas fragrances, to get an idea of what people wanted, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. And who better to ask than your loyal customer base?
That's it. That Facebook group is going to be wonderful for instant feedback as well.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is, when someone places an order and they receive it, you will find that they will take a photo of it and they'll put it in the Facebook group, and they will give you honest feedback. Sometimes it is brutal. 9.8 times out of 10,
it's positive.
It's always great, because you know what you're doing. You're making great products. You know what you're doing, so you haven't got to worry about that. But there might be the odd thing that you haven't thought about, or obviously, especially this kind of industry where it's around scent and fragrance.
Subjective, isn't it?
It's very subjective. So it's people just sharing their opinions, and you mustn't be afraid of that.
No, it will help you grow as a business.
Yeah, one of the biggest mistakes we did was for the first, I think it was a period like 21, 22, where I think we were going through a transition phase of moving from one particular like packaging to another particular packaging. Customers weren't liking it, and we were like dismissing negative feedback, and that starts to snowball up, and then people start to not trust you and things like that. So that's something you've got to be very careful of, is listening to all types of feedback and learning from that as well. We certainly did that, especially in the early days when you don't really know what you're doing.
No.
In the last podcast we spoke about our autumn collection of 2019, our first ever autumn collection, didn't we?
We did, yeah. And we learnt some amazing lessons from that, and we implemented like the new testing strategy and everything straight away. And that's what it is about, isn't it? It's about learning from the feedback and improving your business and your services.
You have to do that, don't you? I mean, for those of you who didn't listen to the last episode, basically our first ever autumn collection, we didn't test. We weren't really in the testing. We didn't really know much about testing fragrances at that point. We just released some fragrances. We buggered it up because the oils and whatever, we just didn't test them and they were rubbish. We were getting some terrible feedback. So we repurchased the oils somewhere else, tested thoroughly, and sent everybody who weren't happy with them a whole fresh batch of this new ones for free. Just send it to them. And oh my God, that Facebook group just exploded with love for us, didn't it?
It did,
that really did help.
And then the Facebook group was really properly growing then, wasn't it? And there was a lot more engagement in the positive side of things.
Yeah, that's right. And another great thing about Facebook groups, I was saying this ties into getting the feedback, and this isn't necessarily direct feedback about products, but it's feedback about what people want.
Yeah.
Run polls in there. Just ask them, if you're thinking about doing something for autumn or for spring next year, ask your audience, what would you like me to do? What fragrances would you like us to bring out for you for spring? You could put a poll in there with your ideas and let people vote, or you can just have it free so people could just tell you, just write in there, spot the trends, write them all down,
Although I do have a little tip on that though. When you're trying to launch a new collection, if you, for instance, wanted to launch 6 fragrances, where possible, you try and hit all of the different categories. So one in the clean and fresh, one in the woody and musky, one food and fruity, one inspired, and so on. So then that way, if you have an autumn collection, they're not all foodie fragrances, and everybody will be able to purchase something.
Yeah.
It doesn't alienate any customers, which is something that we ended up doing with Cozy Aromas in the last few years, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's right. And the other thing that worked really well, I mean, we are chucking some
We're
value
sticking
out
some
here, aren't
golden
we?
nuggets in there.
Another thing that Tamer did every single day, without fail, 7 p.m., you used to just put a post in the Facebook group, which was some kind of like feedback. No, not feedback. It was a post on just your activity for the day,
Yeah,
really. You know,
it
what you've
can
been.
be. It could be anything. It could be something that I'd done during the day. That I took a photo of as we were doing. It could have been something that we were warming that night. I even did regular or fairly regularly. I shared like behind the scenes of what I was doing in the lab,
Yeah.
or of how our testing process was working.
Yeah, that's it. And because then people start to see and look out for those posts and they'll engage with them and they'll remember stuff as well.
Yeah, they do.
The amount of times we had comments in there and posts in there saying, Tamer, 4.5 weeks ago you mentioned this. What's happening with this?
Yeah.
And then they keep you on your toes. That is for certain.
They certainly do, yeah. And obviously, we did our live shops as well in the Facebook group,
Yeah.
and would get people in the Facebook group during the live shop asking questions based on something that I posted a couple of weeks ago. So, can you give me an update on this?
Yeah, that's it. And regular behind the scenes content as well. Post that in the group as well. Just what we used to like to, well, it's Nathan actually who started doing this. He did it a few times. And it was just a simple, it was a photo, which was, this is my view today.
Yeah,
It could be him.
they work fantastic.
It could be him sat at one of the desks upstairs in production, showing the production team. It could be anything like that.
He shared one yesterday in the community, in the Cozy Aromas community, which is a delivery that arrived, and it got loads of engagement, loads of comments and posts, likes and everything on
That's
it.
right. That's right. So there are all the different types of things you can post: polls, ask for feedback, behind the scenes content, general day to day stuff. Do all of that from your personal profile,
Yeah,
and then when you want to sell something, do that from your business Facebook page.
yeah,
But the Facebook page posting in the group, of
Yeah.
course, you know. And what we found, now we're going to talk about sales a little bit, I think, you know, actually generating sales within the Facebook group. When we built up this audience, I don't mean to the level it is now or was, but, you know, this is a few years ago as well. You don't need many. You just need 100, 200, 300 people that are engaged and fully invested. When you have something to sell, post it in that Facebook group. Let people know when you're going to post it. So let's say it's 7 p.m. on a Friday, you're going to sell this thing. Throughout that week, in your Facebook group, you're saying to people, I'm going to release it in this Facebook group at 6 p.m. on Friday.
so you have early access.
So you guys have early access, and we've only got 100 of them available. You watch them fly off the shelves.
Yep.
When people realise that there isn't many of them and they get early access, I promise you they queue up for it.
They certainly do. And if you look at your Google Analytics on the lead up to it as well, you'll just see the numbers ticking and ticking up while
Yeah.
people are adding things to their basket and
That's it.
waiting, because they don't normally just usually buy that one product you're selling. They're thinking, oh, hang on, I was going to top up on this, but I'll wait. And you launch that at 6 o'clock, so I'll add that to my basket and I'll wait till 6, add the extra newbies and
Yeah.
buy that as well.
Exactly. And on sales events, like we used to have a couple of sales events each year. We had our big summer meltdown, which was a big sales event in the middle of summer, and of course Black Friday.
Yeah.
And we used to launch it at midnight. Say Black Friday used to go live the sale at midnight, and
That was a long day, wasn't it?
at 11:50 p.m. you go on your Google Analytics real time, or if you're using Shopify, go to the analytics on there and look at the live view. You see the amount of people that are on the
Yeah.
site filling their baskets because they don't want the things to sell out. So they fill their baskets, and as soon as it strikes midnight and the prices update, or you release your
Code.
discount code, they will put that in. And they'll buy. Honestly, within 2 or 3 minutes of midnight on Black Friday, 2, 3, 400 orders coming in.
Yeah.
It is unreal.
And I remember doing it the first year that we were in this house. We had people that were disappointed the year before where they couldn't get stock up on their favourites, even though they stayed up till midnight
Yeah.
because they sold out so quick. So we actually had a chunk of people buy them at full price before midnight
Yeah.
so that they could actually get them.
That's it.
And then went back on and used a discount for the other bits that were still left.
That's a good point, actually. And to put some context in there, if you remember, I think it was about 11:30 p.m. I used to just update the website to get any of the stock that we had specifically for that sale on there, update all the stock numbers, get the any visuals, any banners, and all that kind of stuff on the site ready. As at that point, these people they didn't care about the discount; they really wanted that product.
Yeah.
So to save them risking going out of stock, they buy them at full price.
Yeah.
It is crazy, isn't it? Really is crazy.
But that was an incredible feeling, though, wasn't it? That somebody wasn't going to wait an extra half an hour to get it at 40% off. They wanted it that badly that they were going to pay full price for it.
Yeah.
And we were like completely blown away, weren't we? We were sitting there.
We were.
It's like, what?
We just could not believe it. And then we have the live shops that we do or did every 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, twice a month we were doing them.
Live shop. It's a 2-hour event. We build up the hype for it, and this is another good way of getting members to your Facebook group as well, because you post on social media and via email that you've got this live shopping event. This particular product is going to be. We've only got 150 of them. They're going to go on sale during this live event. Come and join us. Blah 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 blah. They're only available in this live event. Join our Facebook group, and they do.
The key is to build up the hype properly. So for the full week before, you want to have sent out an email and told people, oh, this date you want to be available, come to the Facebook group. But then on your social media channels as well, you want to be sharing videos, reels on Instagram, and do them as page posts on Facebook. But you want to show the team making the products. You want to talk about what's available, what time it is, and to make sure that there's nobody that can miss it, basically, and to get them really excited about it and make sure every single time you tell them there is only X amount available.
Yeah, that's it. Absolutely. And have an exclusive product for your live shop.
Yes.
So I don't know, for us anyway, it would be like 200 of an item that is only available during that live shop.
Yeah.
And that item was an exclusive scent, a fragrance we'd never released before just for that live event. Or it could be a clamshell or something like this.
Yeah.
And our sweet spot price, whatever it would be about £20.
Yeah.
And we would do it as part of a mystery box. So let me just explain that. So what we would have, the item that we're selling during that live shop is a £20 mystery box.
Which is worth more than the £20.
Yeah, that's how much they're paying for, but it's worth like 30. And in that mystery box, they get this exclusive product, which could be a wax melt, plus they're getting some other mystery stuff. So that's what they're buying, £20. We've found that is the sweet spot.
Yeah,
they sell all day, every day. And then what we would do is we would launch the product itself half an hour before we went live, so people can get their pre-orders in. And then when we go live in the Facebook group, you've got 100 people watching it
straight away.
And what we're doing on screen, what Tamer and Jess were doing on screen, was picking those orders. So it'd be like, oh, Rachel, this is what you've got in your mystery box. Here's your exclusive fragrance, showing it to the camera. Then you've also got this, you've got this, you've got this. Thank you so much for your order. Next one.
Yeah.
And you just do that, and they sell out.
What's the key is to make sure that your number, especially to start with, is low enough that you do sell out, and you want to regularly sell out every single time before you start upping your numbers of how many you're actually selling. Yeah,
you do want to sell out because then it shows the exclusivity.
It does.
And those 2 hours,
go fast.
Would do £4,000, £5,000, something like that.
Yeah, and we also then introduced what we called bumper boxes, so bumper mystery boxes. So because we had some very loyal customers that would spend more than just £20 on an item. So we had some larger boxes available, which were £75, but they were they were worth £75, but people paid £50 for them because the margin is in your product at the end of the day, isn't it? If you've priced your products correctly, then the margin's in your product, so you can give them more product and, get
and we'd only make sort of 20 of those or 25 of
those. Very small
and
number.
That'll sell out super quick as well.
Yeah, they were typically sold out before we actually went live.
Yeah, so, and that's the thing, isn't it? And all of this is possible once you've built that community. Trying to do this kind of thing that we've just spoken about via your Facebook page or via Instagram, it's just so difficult because it's open to everybody. So
It is harder.
and yeah, it is much harder. So you really do need to build that community around your brand.
And we've done this on TikTok as well, haven't we? We've
Mhm.
actually done live shops on TikTok ourselves as well. And we've personally preferred the Facebook group doing it within our community, didn't we?
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, so that's it. So all of this stuff is only really possible from building a community, and for us, it was in that Facebook group,
Yeah.
and it just worked so well for us, didn't it? And I strongly believe that if you are going to build a brand, you need to have an engaged community, especially
Hmm.
these days when it's much harder to get sales.
Yeah.
When we first started, we had lots of Facebook ads running, a incredible offer, which is what you need, and that works now.
Yeah.
But that gets you your first order. You then need to have a retention strategy in place, and a key part of that is having people in a Facebook group or in a community of some description that you can nurture them over time.
Hmm.
These orders and these customers, they don't just swing by and come out of nothing.
No.
You have to work hard to
Hmm.
keep them.
You have to
Um,
nurture your audience,
yeah, you do. Well, you have to nurture your audience to get them to become a first time customer,
but then you have to continually
and then you
nurture
have to
them.
nurture them in a community to get them to become repeat
Hmm.
customers. And if we were to start again, that's exactly what I'd do again.
Yeah. Yeah, we would never underestimate the power of a community.
And I think actually it is underestimated sometimes, and I
Mm.
think it is now, and it's evident.
Yeah.
Since we left our business, Cozy Aromas, we sold it, we've left. The group has not been quite the same since.
No.
There's been multiple hundreds of people leave, and the growth rate of that is, for the first time since we started, is on a downward trajectory,
Yeah. Which is sad to see.
which is really sad to see. And it needs that nurturing, and it needs
Hmm.
that stuff. Everything that we did and everything that we continue to talk about, that's what it needs to get back
Hmm.
on track. Um,
It's not an easy task to do. It's a very, very full on job, isn't it, really?
and I think that's the thing as well, because it's something you can't switch off from.
No.
There's every night, and I mean this literally every single night, you would be manning that Facebook group. We both would, but you'd
Yeah.
be the one commenting, and we're watching a
Hmm.
movie, a 2 hour long movie, but it takes us 3.5 hours to watch it
Yeah.
because we keep pausing because of this,
Hmm.
and answering comments and all that, which is great because we know that, because that means it's engaged.
Yeah.
But that it just shows that
The level of work involved in it. You can't go in with your eyes shut.
you gotta be prepared to do the work. And of course, if you want to build a successful business, that's what you have to do. It's not just going to happen.
No.
You got to force these things. So yeah, I mean, it's easy stuff. It's chat. You've got this audience of people. Chat to them. Talk
Yeah.
to them. You're the boss of those people. If what I mean by that is you're the one letting them know what it is you're doing as a business, what you've got coming up, all of this good stuff, what you want them to do. So you want them to click this link to join here, to place this order, blah, blah, blah. But you need to nurture them. You need to
Yeah.
lead them. You need to encourage them. It's social media. Just be social with people, but put the work in, get it done.
Be warm and open and just be friendly.
Yeah, that's it. And of course, with this does come some negatives.
Yeah.
With anything, and the negatives are there will be people in your Facebook group who are very loud, very
Yes.
noisy, and very disruptive.
Hmm.
It could only be a few people, and they will be the noisiest of the lot. And if anything goes wrong, they will share that news far and wide amongst other Facebook groups. We've had that happen before.
We've had some terrible, terrible negativity towards ourselves, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean, even now,
Even now we get it.
to me and Tamer personally as well. It's just
Some of the messages you received, your last message you received from an ex-customer calling you every single name under the sun and all
I'm like,
sorts of stuff.
Jesus Christ, Karen.
Yeah.
We sell wax melts. If you
Yeah.
like them, buy them.
If you don't, go somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, crikey, But that's only a very small minority. But the
Yeah.
problem is that very small minority are
Are loud.
relentless.
They're loud, they're relentless, and also because we're only a human being, taking that sort of thing on, you think about it, and it's a personal attack,
Yeah.
and it's hard to overcome that sometimes.
It could be anything. It could be that you've made a mistake as a business, or it could be crossed wires, or
Yeah.
actually it could be people making assumptions.
which
which,
we found a lot of.
yeah, people will share, they will post something. I can't even think of an example now. Let's think of when we sold the business, 'cause that's the most recent thing.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then
that
in
was a lot.
and then in these other wax melt groups, they're sort of talking about, oh yeah, they've sold this to a French company. Then they're not going to use soy wax anymore. It's all going to be moving to France. They're going to close everything.
That's all
This
untrue.
It's all untrue and it's all assumptions.
Yeah.
But the problem is people are fickle.
Hmm.
So they will cotton onto that. And then other people that read that will be like, go into other Facebook groups. Oh, I heard this, I heard that. And it just spreads and spreads and spreads. Before you know it, you've got this whole rumour going around, which is completely untrue and just made up and just complete and utter rubbish.
Whereas if that first person sent a message and said, oh, I'm worried about XXXX, and we could have then said, well, no, don't worry, because
Yeah.
XXX, and
But people don't like to do that.
people
They
don't
like
do that.
gossip. So
Yeah.
that's something else you do. When you put yourself in the firing line, you will get shot at.
Yeah.
And that's all part of it. You know, if you just want to be completely behind the scenes and not be
Not be a target.
not be the face of your company and stuff like that, then go for it. You know, I mean, I think I'm pretty certain in a product-based business it will be harder.
Yeah.
But you can still do it
Mm-hmm.
using Facebook ads and social media and all the other techniques that we teach at the Home Fragrance Academy. But I just think it'll be harder, and it'll be harder to retain customers.
Because they won't build the same kind of loyalty.
Yeah, and that's just based on our experience, I think, over the past 6 or so years.
Yeah.
But I mean, I say that, but ultimately we wouldn't change it. And any other, like I say, any other product-based business that we ever did launch, and I really want to make flapjacks. I love flapjacks.
Oh, honestly.
I want to make flapjacks.
If it's not flapjacks, it's dog biscuits.
Well, yeah, not for me though.
Well, I don't know.
Flapjacks I absolutely love, and I want to make a range of them and create a business around that. And if I did that, I would create a Facebook group where people can share their thoughts, build a community, all of that kind of stuff. And it works. It will work.
But the funny thing is, how often do you bake or cook?
Yeah, but
Never is the answer to that.
I still like them.
You like eating flapjacks?
Or dog treats. I don't like eating those. But, you know, obviously we've got Willow, so we're very much dog people. And, but, you know, making organic dog treats, building a community around that as well, which will be even easier because everyone loves pictures of cute dogs. So that will
We've got
help.
plenty of them.
That will help. But anyway, that gives you an idea, you know. And any product-based business you're in, you can do that. You can build a community around your brand, and you can build an engaged audience, and you can sell like crazy to them.
Yep.
And you can build a business of your dreams by doing so.
It's easier to sell to your community than it is to a complete stranger.
Absolutely. That's the key takeaway.
Yep.
It's easier to sell to a community than it is a complete stranger. So build yourself a community.
Definitely. I agree.
Anything else?
On building a community, I don't think there is anything else, actually. I think we've kind of covered everything, stuck in a few extra golden nuggets as well.
Yeah. That's episode 3 done, I think.
Yeah.
We're
We're getting through these quite nicely,
getting through these. I mean, we're going to you watch. We'll listen back to these in 2 years' time and be like, "Oh my god, that was so rubbish." Like,
Yeah.
But
you always do that, though, don't you? Listen back or watch back on the old videos.
But you know, we've got to start somewhere. If we didn't start, then we wouldn't know, would we?
Well, that's true.
With this podcast, we do actually want to get guests on at some point. I think for the first load, we're just going to do it as a couple because that gets us used to it.
Yeah.
How it works. But then we do want to get guests on. And we've got a few lined up, I think.
We've got a couple of people that have said already that they would like to be interviewed. So if you would like to be interviewed, let us know.
And guess where these people contacted us from? Our Facebook group, our
community.
Join our Facebook group. Come and join us. On Facebook, search for Home Fragrance Academy Community. Come and join. Chat to us. Me and Tamer are in there all the time. We go live often. And then you can come and have a chat with us on our podcast as well. We'll give you some little tips and tricks on how you can grow your business. How's that sound?
That sounds perfect, I think.
Until next time.
And we'll speak to you soon.
Bye-bye.